Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we return to talking about Celtic and Celtic only. We have a few transfer updates to run through, as you would expect, but Celtic are back in the swing of things. Brendan Rodgers and the team have returned to Lennoxtown, and we've listened to the manager speak for the first time since the dawn of a new season. Some good news, and also some slightly apprehensive news. Cameron Carter-Vickers looks as though he's injured. We need to talk about that this afternoon, so bear with me. We're going to try and cover all of that today. We're back. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. We are now into July and the ball keeps rolling. Hopefully Celtic make a lot of great signings this month as we build towards the first competitive game of the season. But hit those buttons. We'll have our first live stream watch along on Friday as Celtic take on Queen's Park. So hopefully I'll see you there. Today we've got a lot to talk about. Let's start with that news about Cameron Carter-Vickers, because the nerves are building as to whether or not he'll be available for the first game of the season. So these were the sorts of headlines doing the rounds last night, that Cameron Carter-Vickers has sparked a Celtic fitness concern despite returning to Lennoxtown for pre-season. He is back in Glasgow but is yet to take part in sessions with the rest of his teammates. The Daily Record reported that Celtic have fresh injury concerns with Cameron Carter-Vickers, and the worst part about it all is this line here, that there is a chance that he might need to go through surgery. Yes, there is a slight chance, an unconfirmed chance, that Cameron Carter-Vickers might need to get an operation or has had an operation over the summer. It remains unconfirmed, which would spell very bad news for Celtic. So there is a lot of uncertainty right now with these reports. What we do know is he is yet to fully train with the squad. He's been there at Lennoxtown but hasn't taken part in any sessions. And there's a slight chance that he's had an operation over the summer months, which would come as a surprise to us as Celtic fans, because there was no talk of Cameron Carter-Vickers needing surgery towards the end of the season. He was playing week in, week out, essentially, in the closing stages. He played in the Scottish Cup final, and he was, fine by the looks of things. There was no talk of surgery needed, but maybe something has flagged up over these few weeks with international duties and whatnot. It's not good news nonetheless. You don't want to hear that, and you certainly want him fit for the first few games of the season. There's a very important run between August and September, which sees Celtic play in the opening league games, the game against Rangers at Ibrox, and of course Champions League qualifiers. You need your best team for that, and Cameron Carter-Vickers is the best centre-half at Celtic. So we need to hear more from Brendan Rodgers himself about this, but it is, as I said, I used the word apprehensive. It will give you that apprehensive feeling moving into the opening weeks of the season, knowing that Cameron Carter-Vickers might not be available, and it changes the transfer strategy, I think, for these next few weeks. As it stands, Celtic do have a good amount of centre-halves at the club, but whether or not you think they're good enough is a completely different question. Liam Scales, Austin Trusty, Mike Nawrowski, Gustav Lagerbielke, they are all here. We're obviously waiting for Inamura to arrive from Japan as well, but I don't think any of them even come close to the level that Cameron Carter-Vickers provides. And the one thing that I said that we needed badly in this window was a partner at the same level, the same calibre of Cameron Carter-Vickers. And now we're potentially thinking about maybe needing to bring in a second centre-half, and that'll be the biggest question asked amongst this news. Should we be bringing in two quality centre-halves now, depending on the situation with Cameron Carter-Vickers? It is all dependent on how long he's out for. I know people will be jumping to the conclusion that now is the time to start looking for another centre-half and that we need someone else brought in. But I think patience is required on this one, just until the end of the week at least. Celtic play their first friendly on Friday night against Queen's Park, and Brendan Rodgers will step up to some form of media duty. He will be asked about Cameron Carter-Vickers, and I think it will be the end of the week when we find out the real extent of what's happening here, how long we should expect to see Cameron Carter-Vickers out for. Yes, I'm not trying to gloss over anything. It's bad news. Of course it's bad news, but it might not be as bad as we think. This is all speculation right now from the tabloids. It's all rumours. Just a wee bit of patience required. But as it stands, Cameron Carter-Vickers not looking good for the first game of the season. But very quickly, before we wrap this up, I just want to talk about something very, very quickly that has frustrated me this morning. As soon as these articles were doing the rounds, I already seen people brushing him with the feather of injury prone. I already know the comment section's going to be can't be trusted, injury prone. And I'm sorry, it's nonsense. It's just nonsense. He's not injury prone. He's had a couple of injuries like footballers do, but it doesn't mean that he's injury prone. This is his injury record since signing for Celtic. He's missed, yes, a few big injuries that have kept him out for a wee while. But on the whole, I mean, let's just very quickly switch over to his stats from last season. How can you call a man who played over 40 games for Celtic last season injury prone? Over 40 games. I think it was 43 to be exact, across all competitions. Champions League, he played 7 out of the 10 games that he played. He only missed 3 of them. The Premiership main part of the season, 27 out of 33 games. Split, he got rested, they managed his minutes. Of course he's not flawless. Of course there are concerns in there, but he's not injury prone. He's not. He's had a couple of big ones that have sadly held him back from playing 50 plus games in a season. But these are things that are part and parcel of being a professional footballer. Celtic have managed Cameron Carter-Vickers' injuries very, very well, and they will continue to do that. But I have never been overly concerned about these injuries he's picked up, because he still went on to play, and he's went on to play at a higher level as well. Every time he comes back from one of these injuries, there's people in my comment section saying, oh, he'll be finished. And he comes back just looking the same player. I have faith that'll happen again here. Of course, it's something the club will be keeping a close eye on. But I just don't buy into the whole injury. Injury prone is somebody who plays 2 games, then is out for 2, then comes back in, then he's out again, and he's back in, he's out again. That's not Cameron Carter-Vickers. He's went away, he's got his problems sorted, he's came back, and he's been fine. And the club have managed it really, really well. So, sorry, I just wanted to put that out there. I don't buy into it. You might think it. Okay, fair enough if you do. I just don't buy into it. So the squad have returned to Lennoxtown. Brendan Rodgers is back, and we've heard him speak for the first time this season in a lengthy sit-down interview with Celtic TV. He spoke about a number of things that I'm sure you want to hear, and one of the main ones is the focus on our recruitment for the rest of the summer window. The business isn't done yet, and Brendan Rodgers has confirmed that. So speaking about a number of things, let's look over some key issues very, very quickly. This is what Brendan Rodgers said in relation to the remainder of the transfer window. He said, we're not needing a major overhaul of the squad, but freshness is so important. Some of these guys here have been here a long time, and it's so important that even in a winning squad, you refresh that and reset the competition in the squad. We've done some really good business up until now. I see us doing more, and to get us set up for what will hopefully be a really exciting season. So Brendan Rodgers wants more business. Don't you worry, it's not stopping at the signing of Inamura, and hopefully the ball gets rolling in the next week or so. Brendan also spoke very positively on the players he's brought into the club, in particular Kieran Tierney and Ross Doohan, who he said are very important to bringing in the mantra of what Celtic is about. They've came up through the system, they keep the culture alive at Celtic, which is why signings like that are so important. He spoke about Benjamin Nygren and how excited he is to be working with him, and spoke about Callum Osmond too, with the future plans for him, and said that he is here to be part of the plans. So some very interesting words from Rodgers. You can go and listen to that interview now, and yeah, I'm very excited for the season ahead, and I'm very excited to see how the rest of this transfer window goes. Right, so brief transfer update then to finish off today's bulletin. We have some news in regards to outgoings. First of all, Yang. We better talk about him because Celtic have received an inquiry surrounding Yang in this summer transfer window, and that comes from Legia Warsaw in Poland. Now, Sky Sports reported this last night that Legia Warsaw have made an inquiry for Celtic winger Kühn Yang. It is understood that a number of clubs in England and across Europe are monitoring his situation. With 3 years left on his Celtic contract, he provided 6 goals and 6 assists in all competitions last season. Now, you know me, I'm not the biggest Yang fan. I think there's a lot of improvement that needs done to his game before he's Celtic standard. But we have seen the flashes of brilliance. We have seen the flashes of potential, which makes this one slightly more complicated in my eyes. I think the smartest move would be to loan Yang out this summer. Give him that one last chance to prove himself elsewhere. He's not going to... The bottom line is this. He's not going to play a lot of football at Celtic this year. with Nicholas Kühn and Dyson Maeda still here, with Jota set to return at some point in the year, Benjamin Nygren coming in, James Forrest still being here, and potentially another winger joining, Yang's football is going to be at a bare minimum. It's going to be a very little amount. Move him out on loan, get him playing, watch his development, and if he shows signs of somebody that can be good enough, bring him back and give him that chance. Right now, I still think he's a while away from being good enough. But the last thing you want to do is sell him and then he kicks on somewhere and you regret it. So I think a loan move would be smart. They should listen to these inquiries and see what they can do. But I think in some capacity, it looks like Yang will leave the club this summer. And there's been a significant update with another winger, that winger being Nicholas Kühn, because Gianluca Di Marzio in Italy has reported that Como are at their last attempt for Nicholas Kühn. Their patience has wore thin. The headline was that is the last attempt. If the deal doesn't go, they will move for somebody else. He reported that Como will make one last attempt for Nicholas Kühn, and if the situation doesn't resolve itself, they will go for Adai, another winger who plays for AZ Alkmaar. Como's market is becoming more and more ambitious, and the hottest names are Kühn of Celtic and Adai from AZ. This morning, a last attempt will be made for Nicholas Kühn, and if the deal doesn't work out, they will close for Adai, who's expected in Italy in the next few hours to visit the club's facilities. So there you go. I didn't know that Como were so far ahead in their quest for Nicholas Kühn. We did report they were interested and that there was an offer launched. I didn't know they were so far down the line and at their wits' end with it, but here we are. Apparently they will launch their last bid for Nicholas Kühn today. And if Celtic say no, they're moving on. What we do know is Celtic are wanting to start the bidding process at roughly £15 million, but they want more than £17 million. If Como say no to that, then it's down to RB Leipzig, and if they say no to it, then it looks as though Nicholas Kühn might remain a Celtic player this season. And that does it for today. If you've enjoyed, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And take care of yourself. We'll be back tomorrow, or back maybe even tonight with a live stream. We'll see what happens. Take care of yourself. God bless, and I'll see you all next time.